Hey Starseeds, welcome back to Irene the Cocoa Queen. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this very delicious vegan Wellington. Now, just FYI, it has about 20 ingredients, half of which are herbs and spices. But it's worth it because Easter's just around the corner and I'm sure you want to have something very delicious on the table. Before we get into the recipe, don't forget that we are here every single week, freeing all beings one recipe at a time together. So let's do it! So the first thing we're going to do before we fry up some of our ingredients is that we are going to place 1 cup of bulgur wheat in some hot water, and we're going to let that sit for about 10 minutes. Now you want to do the same thing with your soy mince if it is dehydrated. So today I'm going to be using dehydrated soy mince. It's the only soy mince that I can find here in Cyprus, but I'm sure if you're living in the States or anywhere else, you can get your hands on just, frozen soy mince or even non-soy meat alternative mince. Okay, so you can go ahead and use whatever you want really. So what we're going to do is, if you are using dehydrated soy mince, you're just going to hydrate it in some hot water for about 15 minutes. Don't forget that after your soy mince has been soaking in hot water, for those of you who are using dehydrated soy, don't forget to discard the water before you throw it into the frying pan. Okay, now once that's done, you're going to take out your frying pan. You're going to add a little bit of olive oil to your frying pan, and then in goes 1 cup of onion that I have processed in the food processor. So now you're going to add in the soy mince, and you're going to let that cook for about 5 minutes, and then you're going to add in 1 cup of chopped walnuts. So you're going to let that all cook for about 10 minutes until you see that all the water is evaporated and it's nice and dry. So once that's done, you're going to take a clean bowl and you're going to add in all of the ingredients that were in the frying pan, and then you're going to put in 4 cups of mushrooms. Now today I'm using portobellini mushrooms. You don't want to use any other kind of mushroom in this recipe. It's really important that you use the portobellini. So I just processed these mushrooms in the food processor, and then I'm placing 4 cups into our mix. Next up, you're going to add in 2 cups of grated potato. So yeah, when you're grating your potatoes, make sure that you're grating them on a grater on the smallest hole, okay? Because this releases all the waters, all the juices. And then what you're gonna do with your potato after you've grated it is just squeeze out all the water and make sure that it's nice and dry. So the potatoes go into the mix. That is 2 cups of grated raw potatoes. And now we're going to add in 1 cup of bulgur wheat, 2 cloves of grated garlic, 5 tablespoons of buckwheat flour, 5 tablespoons of chickpea flour, 1 cup of fresh parsley, 1 cup of fresh oregano, 1 cup of fresh dill, 2 tablespoons of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 tablespoon of salt, and you're gonna mix that up with your hands. You're just gonna get in there and make sure that all the ingredients are nicely combined. And then you're gonna add in 2 cups of breadcrumbs. I'm using whole wheat breadcrumbs, but you could easily use gluten-free breadcrumbs. And 4 pieces of hydrated spelt bread, which is 3 cups crumbled. For the hydrated bread, all you have to do is place your pieces of bread in a bowl filled with water, okay? So basically just dip in your bread for like 2 seconds and then remove it and then crumble it into your mix. So once that's done, you're going to add in about 3 tablespoons of buckwheat flour, and then you're going to give it a good mix, okay, with your hands. So you want to knead it and you want to get in there and incorporate all the ingredients together. So important to know that if your mix is wet and sticky, then when you bake it, it's going to be wet and sticky, okay? You want to make sure that you remove as much of the moisture out of the mix as possible before it goes into the oven, okay? That's why we're adding a lot of breadcrumbs and a lot of bread. So if you still feel like it's sticky and wet, then you want to add in more flour, okay? But if you stick to my recipe, I'm sure you're not going to have any problems. So this actually makes 2 meatloaves, okay? You don't want to place the whole recipe in one bread pan because it's going to be too high and then it won't really bake, I think, all that well in the center. So this is for 2 meatloaves. So you're going to take half of the meat and you're going to put it into a bread pan lined with parchment paper, okay? And you're just going to put that in the oven. For those of you who don't want to make a pie crust, you're going to put it in the oven for 50 minutes and you can just eat it as is. You can even make a mushroom gravy and just top your meatloaf with some gravy. So for those of you who want to make a pie crust with this meatloaf, you can go ahead and just go to the store and get a ready-made vegan pie crust if you don't have time to make one. However, for those of you who want to make your own pie crust, leave a comment down below and let me know if you want the recipe for the one that I have in this video, okay? So this is an incredibly delicious vegan Wellington that you can make for all holidays, but since Easter is just around the corner, I suggest you make this one. It's going to be a crowd pleaser. The texture is really meaty and it's really flavorful thanks to all the herbs and spices that we used. Thank you so much for watching Irene the Cocoa Queen. I hope you make this delicious vegan Wellington for Easter or for any other holiday that's coming up. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you like the video, hit that like button. Thanks guys, and don't forget that we are here freeing all beings one recipe at a time together. See you next time.